Welcome back to Me Personally Podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Siafa. I'm here with.
Your boy Jack Johnny. Yes, sir. We back in here with another banger. About time, man. We back.
Mm-hmm. Let's just get right into it. 53 years. Let's sit down and think about this. 53 years, and New York City finally won a championship. But I need to ask a question. Was the firing Tibbs the actual move that unlocked everything? Because Mike Brown, he came in and that bench went crazy, went from a liability into a weapon. They had Brunson, Hart, and Noby, Bridges, and Towns all locked up for 2 more years. But here's my concern. Dolan said no second apron spending. So how do you reload around a championship core without the money?
Uh, I mean, you like you said, the core is locked up. That's the most important part. Um, and I think everybody's willing to come back. I don't think it'll be too hard to have everybody try to run it back. But I will say different circumstances will be at hand next year. So I don't know. I think people will be willing to come to New York too. So whoever's willing, I think you just gotta make up some space with with what you can. I guess I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know how the Knicks can even do that though. Uh, but like you said, firing Tibbs was the move that they need to make because Tibbs relied on his starting five for most of the playoffs last playoffs and yeah, it was just not it. Fatigue is real. You need to balance out your team, and I think Mike Brown did a great job of that this year. So shout out to the OKC Knicks. We rock the blue and orange over here too, man.
Yeah.
Y'all did a big one for us, just like how we did a big one for y'all last year. So yeah,
Yeah. Which I just realized while I was reading the script I made, I skipped the whole entire intro. But this is our NBA draft special. We just want to talk about the Knicks first. But
yeah,
like I was saying, like I feel like if they have their core players locked up for the next 2 years, especially Brunson, like I feel like if they could convince Brunson to take a cheaper deal already, like let's say who doesn't, if they're all willing, like if Hart is willing to take a cheaper deal, Bridges is willing to take a cheaper deal, I feel like they can definitely run this back for the next 2 years. Especially like lately, the Knicks been a good team, like been making good decisions recently. Like that's haven't been something that we've been saying in the past. Like ever since like they signed Julius Randle, they've been making great decisions every season. So I feel like there's definitely a way you can win a championship while not trying to spend too much money. We've seen how OKC's trying to get back there. The Celtics been trying to get back there. The Nuggets been trying to get back there. All these teams that have won a championship in this decade, ever since the second apron came in, they've been trying to get back there. The closest team we have saw to win back to back was OKC, who only lost in 7 games with an injured roster.
hmm
So I feel like if Knicks can stay healthy, try to keep the main core together, they can definitely run it back.
yeah, for sure. I agree. I completely agree.
Hmm. But we got to talk about the biggest move that might happen. Like, there's a reason I've been looking at my phone every 5 seconds because it might happen today as we record this podcast and do this draft special.
Yeah.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2-time MVP, a champion, could be leaving Milwaukee.
hmm
So my question is, where do you think makes the most sense for Giannis? Because it's clearly not staying at Milwaukee because they came off a 32-50 record, fired their head coach and everything. Like since he won a championship, they have been through 3 different coaches. At one point, all 3 coaches was on that payroll, and then we heard rumors about him going. Only 2 teams that has been making sense has been the Boston Celtics or the Miami Heat, and we've been hearing about Miami since 2020 with
Yeah.
Giannis. Cause we also heard about OKC making a move, but like OKC said they're not making a move, which makes sense if you watch basketball. So,
Mhm.
where does Giannis actually ends up? Boston, Miami, or do you got a dark horse?
I don't have a dark horse, man. What makes the most sense for me if he's trying to win, um, I'm going. I think I'm going to Miami because if you think about, if he gets shipped to Boston, right? They're trying to rely on Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's coming off an Achilles injury, and their best player is Jaylen Brown. You have to trade Jaylen Brown in order to get Giannis. So if Giannis would like to go to Boston, he won't have a consistent and reliable running mate because Jaylen Brown is gone. Jason Tatum is not going to be the same Jason Tatum as he was before. Um, he's made significant progress after his Achilles injury. Don't get me wrong, but they're not. That's not. I don't think that would be a deep playoff run. And you need a ball dominant guard. And I think Miami. I think Miami is the best place for him. You got you're able to take off some of the load with you know, Andrew Wiggins there. You got Norman Powell that's able to shoot. You have Bam Adebayo that can clean things up. I think I genuinely think Miami is the best fit for Giannis, and I think the Bucks are gonna make a move. I don't know who's gonna be in that trade talk. Tyler Hero, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting though. I think it's going to happen. Like you said, it could happen right now as we are recording this. But I think it's going to happen within probably like the next 2 days, for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree with you because to me, like it makes like, of course, the idea of Tatum playing with Giannis, it sounds like a match made in heaven. Like we heard that Jaylen Brown said this was his funnest season that he ever had. But like that's because Tatum wasn't playing. He got a chance to shoot all the ball. Like he got to be the star player. So it sounds like he wants out. We've been hearing Jaylen Brown trade rumors since what? Since the bubble. So it makes sense, but I feel like because the trade package that I've been hearing, been watching on ESPN, it sounds like okay, the Celtics are going to trade Brown and some picks and like maybe a couple of role players like to even out the contracts. But the Heat seem like it's going to be a bunch of players that the Bucks can just wave off, or like players that like a bunch of smaller role players. So the Heat can also still go out and get some players in free agency and try to build a roster with probably just Giannis and Bam and whoever it is, because I think Tyler Hero might be part of that trade package, which it makes sense. Tyler Hero is from Wisconsin, so I feel like he's going to get traded by Miami. I think Milwaukee liked the idea of having those multiple players where they can just get off their contract and just rebuild, have those draft picks, and have a hometown hero play for the Milwaukee Bucks. So I feel like not just for Giannis, it makes sense for the Bucks to do that uh, trade because like, will Jaylen Brown even be happy in Milwaukee, Wisconsin? Like we know the type of person he is. He's not gonna want to be in that type of area. I see him in more in Atlanta, more in a California area, like places where he's gonna be comfortable. He's an outspoken person, so like if you know what I'm trying to say, you know what I'm trying to say. But I feel
Yeah.
like,
No, I understand what you're saying for sure.
mm-hmm, I'm not trying to get cancer right here, but you know what type of person Jaylen Brown is, and him
Yeah.
sending him somewhere going from Boston to Milwaukee is just it doesn't fit his type of style. I can definitely see the trade making more sense for Giannis going to Miami and Miami getting Tyler Hero and a bunch of picks and role players. While I can see Jaylen Brown going to Milwaukee, I only can see him being there for a year or two before he wants to request another trade.
Yeah. Yep. Or he probably want to get shipped off as soon as possible, as soon as he get to Milwaukee. If you want to be honest, but um, yeah, I agree, bro. I definitely agree.
Yeah, but do you? Who else do you think is getting moved? because I got one player in mind that is going to get moved during this offseason.
Who you got?
Ja Morant. We all know it's going to be happening. It makes sense. I
We
feel
can
like
all agree on that. Everybody
Mhm.
knows that, bro. His time in Memphis is over with. It was over with really realistically a year and a half ago, but yeah, it's done for sure. Now, where is he going? I am not sure because man,
Yeah,
it could yeah.
I feel like, hey, like I said, we've been talking about Miami. Miami might pull the trigger if they can't get Giannis. They can
Yeah.
get Ja.
Yeah, for sure.
If not Milwaukee, I'm not. If not Miami, I also think maybe a Minnesota Timberwolves. I've been hearing a lot of people saying they want to see John Morant and Anthony Edwards play together. That can be great. Uh, like it can be a team that like that wants that star point guard that's willing to that can build around him. So, like I said, Miami, Minnesota, those are the only two teams I can think about at the moment.
Hmm. Uh, Minnesota is really the only talks I've been hearing, bro. I can see Miami too, though. But I don't know. It's gonna be really interesting. I just know that his time in Memphis is up. But
But another person who is seeking a max contract is Austin Reaves. The Lakers are Lakers guard averaged a career high of 23.3 points per game, 5.5 assists, and shot 36% from the three next to Luka. But we're hearing context that he might be getting that 5-year, 200 million max extension. Does he deserve it, or do you think Lakers are gonna let him walk or try to sign a trade with him?
if you're gonna be honest, bro, I think Austin Reeves is one of the most overrated players in the NBA. This might sound like a lot of hate right now, but like I just don't think he's. I don't know. I just don't think that's somebody you give that much money to. People talk about Chet. You know how Chet got his deal. This is pretty much like the same situation. I'm not comparing the two. Obviously, Austin Reeves is more efficient when it comes to scoring and stuff like that. But the reason that he was able to score score so well is because he had the ball in his hands a lot when Luka was out, And LeBron is able to give him the ball because that's the guard. But I don't think I don't know. Maybe I just sound like a hater right now, but like I just don't feel as if Austin Reeves is worth that, bro. Like you could let him walk. He could go to a different team. He could still probably average 23, 5 and shoot 36% from 3 on a different team. But he's just another he's just another role player in my eyes. I feel like he's that's pretty much it. I don't see that much in Austin Reeves. Like he's not a real two. He's not Jalen Williams. He's not a J Dub. And if you want to be honest, I'll take AJ Mitchell off the bench over Austin Reeves. And that could be a hot take. But like I'll take AJ Mitchell any day because for one, AJ Mitchell will play defense and he could still give you a bucket on offense too. But I think the only reason that people think that Austin Reeves is what he is because he's in LA. He's always on TV. That's all people watch is the Lakers. So that's all you're going to see is Austin Reeves, especially when Luka's not in the game. So that's what I think.
Sorry, I was hungry. But yeah, I think I agree with you. Austin Reeves is like the most. Like I said this. I think I was in the game on the game with you when I was going on this rant about Austin Reeves because I saw they had him on 2K for as an 87 overall. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
can name several players that is better than Austin Reeves that I would rather have that are cheaper. Especially one of those players I said Payne Pritchard. I would rather have Payne Pritchard on my team than Austin Reeves because at least he
Yeah.
can play defense and he can shoot. Austin Reeves is a liability. He is a cone and he's inconsistent. Once a real defender gets onto him, like the Oklahoma City Thunder did, well, several games in the regular season, Casey Wallace, uh, Casey Wallace, Lou Dort, all defenders on OKC have been shackled. At one point, he had more turnovers than shots made during the game. Him and
Yeah,
Luka. So I feel like he's just to give him a 5-year, $230 million. When you're still trying to get LeBron too, who's an unrestricted free agent, and you still have Luka's contract. How can you build around Luka if you're going to try to give him this big contract? I feel like the best thing they can do is do a sign and trade before a team like the Brooklyn Nets is going to try to give him the super max, and you got to match the contract because you don't want him to walk.
yeah, for sure, exactly. I think
So,
I don't know. I don't think you can't build around Luca trying to give Austin Reeves that much money, bro. Just let him go have his own team. Like send him to a poverty franchise like the Brooklyn Nets or
mm-hmm.
you know, shoot even Sacramento. Let him go
Mm.
hoop in Sacramento. You know,
Honestly,
some
it's more better for them to let him walk
yeah.
because
It's gonna
like
hurt them in the long run trying to give him that deal, bro.
mm-hmm. like there's players like I get Tyler Hero
Yeah.
instead of Austin Reeves. Like the way the Laker fan base treat Austin Reeves, they think Austin Reeves is the second coming of Klay Thompson, but he's more like he's barely better than Isaiah Joe in my opinion. But like that's just me just being a hater too. But
Yeah, facts.
like
But
it's just
I'm being
like
so
it's
serious though. He's not better than AJ Mitchell, bro. I don't care. I'm
mm,
taking AJ Mitchell on any given day, bro. Austin Reeves is
like,
not better than AJ Mitchell, bro.
and we saw that in the postseason. AJ Mitchell hooped against Austin Reeves, and AJ
There's
Mitchell's
so
not afraid to
many,
play defense.
bro.
Like
There's so many better second options in the league than Austin Reeves, bro. They really think Austin Reeves is
if Peyton
like you
Pritchard was
said.
on the Lakers, if he was drafted by the Lakers and play on the Lakers and have the minutes as Austin Reeves, bro, he'd be a 94 overall too. The way they hype up any role player who plays for the Lakers, like
Bro.
they make Jared Vanderbilt sound like he's the second coming of Scottie Pippen. Like that's how Lakers fans are. Like some of these players who play for the Lakers aren't really that good once they get off the Lakers team because the Lakers fans be hyping them up.
Kentavious Caldwell Pope got off the Lakers, hoop with the Nuggets for one season, and was gone.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in Orlando now. Like
Yeah,
we don't
but
even
I
hear
would say
about Pope
this:
anymore.
he did win a championship with the Nuggets, so I'll let
No,
that
no,
slide.
no, no, no. I'm no. That's what I'm saying. He won
Mm-hmm.
with the Nuggets. I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying, but once that was over with,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a 3-and-D player, bro. That's pretty much all you good for at that point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but other players that are rumored, you also gotta look at the Kings. The Kings the Sacramento wants to get off one of the big three contracts they have. They have Levine 48.9 million, Sabonis 94.1 million over 2 years, or DeMar DeRozan with 25.7 million. But I feel like who out of all those three are most likely to be removed from the team, traded from the team?
Uh, who I want to be traded from the team is Sabonis. He just waste. Sabonis is a decent big, bro. He just wasting his time there in Sacramento, bro, and it's very unfortunate. But who I think is gonna go is probably DeMar DeRozan. Uh, at least that's who I would let go.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like
I feel like
I
I feel like
you just got two ball dominant guys in Levine and DeRozan, so you got to pick one. You know, so I think DeRozan would be gone after that, but
I definitely feel like they're going to get rid of both DeRozan and Sabonis. I feel like it's going to be more harder to get rid of Levine out of all three of them because what does really Levine do besides dunk occasionally and try to be like Kobe, but he's not. But
mhm.
he doesn't play good defense. He doesn't hustle. We saw that video of that fan saying like, at least try to play. You have some
Yeah,
heart. We saw that video, and coaches are seeing that. GMs are seeing that. I feel like the Levine hype train has died out since like we saw it, we just know like once he left Chicago, that's when he just like it seemed like he doesn't have the heart no more. So and that's what teams look for. But I feel like I said, Sabonis is wasting his time away. Like we saw every single time someone like we saw this season, like every play that the Kings left go, Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, head coach Mike Brown, like they found success elsewhere. I feel like Sabonis is going to find success elsewhere. He can play the center, he can play the power forward, so he can shoot the three ball. He's a great rebounder, so like that's valuable, especially in this league. So I feel like he can be a piece for a championship roster. Like, let me just throw out a team like the Timberwolves. Timberwolves would rather have Sabonis than have Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, I agree.
And DeMar DeRozan, like his contract doesn't look too crazy. Only getting $25.7 million. That's movable compared to Levine's $48.9 million.
Yeah.
So I can see DeMar DeRozan going somewhere. Yeah. Do you think we saw all those tweets and burner accounts from Kevin Durant? You think he's going to be leaving the Houston Rockets this season after requesting to get traded to the Houston Rockets?
I don't think they'll let him go, bro. I don't think so. I wouldn't if I was the Rockets. That was your best player, and he's on a decline of his prime. That being your best player, Kevin Durant can still be Kevin Durant when he wants to be. So I wouldn't let him go if I was Houston. And we come to find out, him being on that burner, everything that he said was true. I think his teammates are really, really, really bad, and you've seen that in the playoffs too. Alfred Sengun, man, he's just a great value Jokic. Like,
what I feel like what he been saying is what I've been saying all for the last 5 years about the Houston Rockets.
yeah,
I feel like they point the Rockets fans been pointing all the blame toward Jalen Green. So when Jalen Green gone, the same problems are there. At least
yeah,
with Jalen Green, he was young and he was hooping. I feel like I would rather kept him than Jabari Smith Jr. with Kevin Durant.
yeah,
But they couldn't move Jabari Smith Jr. because he was a bust. But like, and what Kevin Durant said about him, like he could have said a different kind of way, but
mm.
he's right.
It
Like,
was true, bro. It was
mhm.
true though. Like, yeah, but hey,
Hey,
it's Kevin
but
Durant, man.
it's Kevin Durant. What can
He's
you
been he's
say?
been the villain. He's been the villain his whole career pretty much. So like he's used to it, I guess.
I've been second my whole life.
Yeah.
But let's go away from the trade talks and talk about the coaching carousel that's been going on. The first head coaching hire I want to talk about was what they did. Was Taylor Jenkins. They hired Taylor Jenkins, the Milwaukee Bucks. So what do you expect from Taylor Jenkins in this Milwaukee Bucks team, especially might be going into the post no Giannis era?
Yeah. I mean, I think Taylor Jenkins is a good coach. I think he did well in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were Memphis was like top 5, top 6 seed for a lot of the time he was a coach. So
Mm-hmm.
I think he did well in Memphis with that young core. I think if they just give him a young core, build a new core after Giannis is gone, man, I think they could figure it out. Taylor Jenkins knows what he's doing. I think he's a good coach, bro. He's proven himself with that young core in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they didn't get the result that they wanted, I think Milwaukee would be pretty good in pretty good hands with Taylor Jenkins. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I like the Taylor Jenkins hire. I think he was a good coach with uh with the Grizzlies. I feel like the Grizzlies made some bad moves that ruined the core of that team, which you ruined the core, you ruined the culture. And that's why, and then when injuries and legal issues with John Morant was going around, like that's what kind of fell the team apart. And then you can't put the finger on the GM for making those moves, like getting rid of Dylan Brooks, trading away uh, Desmond Bain, or trading away Jaren Jackson Jr. eventually after he got fired. Like they don't want to blame the GM, so they blame the coach, and that's give the GM a little restart, a little new timeline for him to still get this right. So I feel like the Taylor Jenkins hire, and we saw him. He what he did with Milwaukee, they were. a rebuilding team. When he got there, he brought them to the playoffs several times. Bro, like we thought we thought at one point they were fine in the West. So like I feel like they might be fine in the East with Taylor Jenkins. So
Yeah.
all right, next team because honestly, the New Orleans Pelicans they fired Willie Green like a week into the season, which in my opinion I feel like he's got dealt the wrong hand when he was coaching the Pelicans because like Zion was always hurt, questionable moves from the Pelicans, like and getting fired within a week, they couldn't at least give him one more like a couple more weeks because like the roster's pretty bad, like and they made questionable decisions of trading their pick for this season to the Hawks to draft another player, which the player is solid, but like knowing that you guys are gonna be bad still, I wouldn't really made that move. Now the Hawks got first round pick in the lottery, top 10, and they was just in the playoffs. So, but they hired Magic's old coach Jamal Mosey, which I thought he was also wrongfully hired, but I knew that he was butting heads with Magic players. So, what's your thought about Jamal Mosley being the head coach for the Pelicans?
Um, I think it could be a good fit. It's like we just have to see. It's one of those things where we just have to wait and see at this point. Uh, I feel like he wasn't that bad in Orlando. Orlando was just a really bad team, bad franchise, But they gotta. I think he has a chance to actually, prove himself, and him being a good head coach with New Orleans. Uh, we know that New Orleans is young. We know that New Orleans they have some pieces and they can make some moves during the draft and offseason. But I think the coaching. I don't think I would have fired uh, Willie Green that early. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I would have gave him a little bit more time. He was just I don't know. Maybe I'm not in that aspect in that area as a GM, so I can't say. But I don't know. I don't think I think I would have gave him a little bit more time. But we'll just see with Mosley, bro. It'll be interesting.
I feel like I'm a little bit expert about this situation, about this topic, because like one, I did a video about the New Orleans Pelicans. You can check out my YouTube video, Stay With Me, where I talk about the Pelicans, why they can't figure out. And two, the GM used to be the GM for the Detroit Pistons, Joe Dumars, between the between the Chauncey Billups years and well, like about now. So like I seen how they drafted. I seen how he drafted like Greg Monroe and Andre Drummond back to back years, thinking they can work together. Like I see all the moves he had done. He is not a good GM. Coming from someone who watched the Pistons growing up, so and then we just see it all again. And also like there's some positives about taking this job. You got the talent there. Zion Williams is coming off perhaps his best and most available season. And you got Trey Murphy the third and Herb Jones, which they're both in trade talks right now. But
Mm.
the questions about the Pelicans is the lack of overall funding into the franchise by like ownership, with discussions about moving the team somewhere else, relocating the team, because we hear those talks for them. And then the decision, like I said before, the decision to trade their 2026 lottery pick plus a first round pick last season for Derek Queen, who, he was solid in the start of the season, but he fell out of starting rotation down the stretch. And they still spent a lot of money for Jordan Poole and then Deontay Murray, both whom seem like a questionable fit because I don't really see them working great together, especially them being two different type of players. So it's not going to be easy getting this team back into the West. So like, it's going to be a challenge for Jamal Mosley. But if there's a man who can do it, because one thing about the Pelicans, I'm sorry, I'm going a little preacher mode right here. Because one thing about the Pelicans, they just lack discipline. Like Zion Williamson lacked discipline. The whole entire roster lacked discipline. They show no accountability, no track record of getting teams of getting their players they want. Like it's hard to establish a culture in New Orleans because they just want to blame it on injuries, blame it on bad luck, blame it on the city because our star player wants to go out and eat some crab legs once in a while. No, that's on the coaching, that's on the ownership, that's on the front office because like if you can't tell a grown man that you're paying $200 million, you can't eat this and this. Put that in the contract so he won't go out and go crazy at the buffet table. So like I feel like with Mosley, he brings in discipline and accountability. That's why Orlando wanted to fire him because he was a disciplined player. He's an old school coach, and maybe that's what the Pelicans needed because they haven't had that in a while. They haven't had that since Chris Paul was there. Like that, the last time the Pelicans was actually at the time it was the Hornets, but last time New Orleans was actually a threat in the West. So maybe Jamal Mosley is the answer for the Pelicans, and I like the hire. I give it a B plus. Whew.
Hey, you broke it down. I like it.
And now let's go to the Magic, who fired Jamal Mosley. So they hired Spurs assistant coach Sean Sweeney. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, that would happen during the playoffs. That literally happened. It was either during Western Conference
Yeah, it
Finals
was like
or
before Game 7, like day before
yeah,
Game 7.
right before Game 7. Yeah, I think I like it. Anybody that comes through the Spurs organization, I think it's. I think it's a great hire. Um, I do think it's better than Mosley. I think you can work with that. And he's an offensive minded coach. I think he was the offensive mind behind the Spurs this year. So uh, I think it's going to be interesting for one, him being in the East, and then two, him having his own team. Starting from zero, basically. Starting all over. I think he can. I know he can instill into that Orlando Magic team at least what a little bit of what he did from San Antonio. So I think it'd be cool and pretty interesting.
Yeah. So they were like this Magic roster. Like the positive for this job is definitely the talent. They have Paolo Bencaro, Franz Wagner, Desmond Bain, Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black. You know, there's some tweaks you can do with the roster for sure. But like the problem is like the roster is expensive. Like
Yeah,
the Magic is heading towards the second apron currently as they're constructed, and they're just a playing team. Like not just a playing team. They barely got into the play-in. They barely got into the playoffs because they lost their first game, so they have to play the seven for the 8th spot. And if the Hornets was a younger team that just got out being terrible for a while, so like they could have lost that game to the Hornets if the Hornets didn't shoot themselves out of the game. So I feel like this is going to be a difficult challenge for Sean Sweeney. But like I said, I think they got the best, honestly, the best hire out of all these hirings right here. Sean Sweeney, he's considered one of the best assistant coaches in the league. He has a huge track record with working with star players like Giannis, Blake Griffin, Luka, and Victor Wembanyama. But like, I feel like this is a good hire. I like the hiring. I give it an A. Let's see what the GM does with the spending on this roster.
yeah. Like you say, it's all about the money. It's hard. I don't understand how they're almost at that second apron and their roster is so mid. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's very mid, and you're spending a lot of money. But yeah,
Yeah, like let me just look this up because I just gotta see it because I know Franz Wagner, Paulo, uh, Desmond Bain, who else? Desmond Bain. Let me look through this team row. So yeah, Franz Wagner's getting paid 30. Oh, let me look at the next season. Franz Wagner's getting paid 41 million. Desmond Bain's getting paid 39 million. Jalen Suggs getting paid 32 million. Paulo Banchero is getting paid 41 million. His rookie extension kicks in next year. Johnson Isaac's getting paid 14 million. Wendell Carter Jr. is getting paid 18 million. And then they got opt into like their rookie deals that they had with Anthony Black 10 million, Jet Howard 7 million. Like, so I can see like they're projected to be spending $222 million.
Yeah,
So like we'll see what he can do, what the GM can do, because they have to make some trades because they
yeah.
have to trade someone off that team. I feel like most likely it might be Suggs. So we'll see. But next team we're gonna talk about is Chicago Bulls. They got the previous head coach Billy Donovan stepped down. I think he's overrated. I'm not gonna go into that. But they hired Tiago Splitter, the interim coach for the Trailblazers, which I think he did a great job with. He was handled with the Trailblazers becoming the head coach all of a sudden because Chauncey Billups issue. So, what's your thoughts about Tiago Splitter going to the Bulls for the head coaching job?
I like it. Like you said, Tiago Splitter did a good job with what he had, in Portland. Uh, after after Chauncey Billups was, you know, acting like he was a teenager, not working for the NBA, betting and stuff. But yeah, Tiago Splitter, I think he's a post NBA player. Obviously, he competed at the highest level in the NBA Finals before. Um, and I think he could bring some grit, bring some toughness, bring some uh some experience to the Bulls, especially when it comes to working with bigs. And we're gonna get to that with the NBA draft. I kind of predicted them drafting a big, so
Mm-hmm.
I think he can. I think it'll be pretty interesting. I like the hire. I'm not mad at it at all. I think you need to move on to Billy Donovan uh probably 5 years ago. But
I'm surprised Billy Donovan got a head coaching job at the OKC, but
man, I don't even understand why Sam Presti took a chance on Billy Donovan in a I know why. I know the truth.
mm-hmm.
But you know, we all know how it is when college coaches come to uh the NBA, you know.
I think you gave me my new video idea for Stay With Me, bro, because I'm about to go hit on Billy Donovan. Oh my gosh. Like, when I sent that text, like, early today, I was like, oh my God, I hate Billy Donovan. I realized how much I hated Billy Donovan. But,
Yeah.
like, yeah, Billy Donovan was. I feel like they made the right decision. I don't know why he had to step down. Like they should have been fired him several years
Yeah.
ago. Let's talk about when they were the first seed in the start of the season, the first 2 months, but then they all fall apart after Lonzo Ball getting hurt. Like I understand injuries are the thing, but like and it took him so long to finally give Kobe White minutes too. And then now they just let Kobe White. They trade Kobe White away. Like oh my gosh, this. But I don't know. I think this is the right hire. Is it? Let's see. They hire a new GM too, so like let's see what him and the head coach can do together. It's always a good sign when they make the GM hire and the head coach hire at the same time, so like they won't be buddy heads.
Yeah.
So we'll see. They have two. They have two picks in the first round. I think the fourth pick and the 15th pick. I feel like we have the same person for the fourth pick. So, but we'll get on to that later. But I like the hire. I think it's the. I think it's the I think it's the second best hire, not third best hire so far. But let's get on with this hire that just happened today. It hurts my soul because like my second team, I always like to root for college sports is always Michigan, and we just won a national championship. It seems like every single time we win a national championship, one of our coaches want to leave for the NBA or NFL, and Dusty May, the head coach of Michigan, left to be the head coach for the Dallas Mavericks. After I don't know why, mutually parting with Jason Kidd, which I think Jason Kidd was a great coach for the Mavericks, but ownership been making questionable decisions the last couple of years.
Yeah.
We saw, the Luka trade, letting Jalen Brunson walk. Like we see how that happened for them. But what's your thoughts about Dusty May being the head coach for the Dallas Mavericks?
You know how I literally just mentioned it with, it's like a prime example of Billy Donovan. Now, am I comparing the two? Nah. Did they both win national championships? Yes. But you seen how Billy Donovan performed when he got to the NBA. I'm not. I'm not a fan of the hire, but I'm not a fan of the hire. Does that make sense? Like I don't.
It makes sense because I agree with you. I
It
fully
does
agree with
not
you.
move me. It does not move me. It does not
Like
move me at all. Like Jason
this,
Kidd. Jason Kidd was a good coach for the Mavericks, and he just was dealt. You know,
I can
different.
see why he went left. I see why he
Yeah,
went left.
and the ownership and the management is just bad. You seen Jalen Brunson walk, Kristaps Porzingis walk, Luca traded. Like but hey, Dallas is Dallas, and I don't really understand the hire, but we'll see.
Like,
I'm not gonna count them out just yet.
I, this hire just makes me feel like, oh, they're expecting a rebuild for a couple more years, a couple five more years. Like at one point they were in, like 2 years ago they were in the NBA finals, and
Yeah,
now we're going to see them not make the playoffs for the next 7 years, in my opinion. Oh, whenever they pull off a magical drafting spree, but like this move does not move me. I feel like even with the draft now, I feel like I got to change my mock draft because I feel like this is going to draft Michigan players too. Like I can see them try to draft either AD Mara, Morez Johnson Jr. or Yax Lindbergh, just like just to have one of his guys there. So like I don't know, and then the roster you got Kyrie Irving. He's 34 years old and he hasn't been playing. He haven't played for a year. You got Derek Lively the second, who's been hurt, who's been on and on, and then you're in the worst area with like the rivalries in the area. You got the Spurs below, the Rockets below, and you got the Thunder on top. Like you're not the best team in your region. You're the fourth best team in the region. Like
yeah.
you're you're like the Tulsa of that region. Like you got Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas right there is Texas. Like if we're talking like oh, let me do a better comparison. Like you're like Texas State, and you got Texas, Texas Tech, Texas A&M, even Texas Southern. Like like you got North Texas. Like you're not the best team in your region. That's gonna affect players. Like oh, why do I want to go to Dallas if I can just go to Houston or go to San Antonio or let me go to the state above us is Oklahoma City. So like that's also a negative for them. But like the only positive is having Cooper Flag. Rookie of the year. Conker never could have won Rookie of the Year, but it's like the Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James Rookie of the Year race basically
Yeah,
to me. But
yeah, for sure.
yeah, but I don't know. This like I said, it doesn't move me. Like it doesn't make like the fact like I can see why Jason Kidd left the job. Like you guys see the reason why a team fires the coach, the reason why the team fires the coach, or the reason why the coach leaves. The reason why the coach leaves because the roster is just is I don't know. It's not good. It doesn't move me. Like like they got more from what? They got more from the AD trade. They got from the Luca trade. Like that's how like ownership. Like I've been hearing stuff about ownership want to sell the team already. I like that's I don't know. This C minus. I don't like the hire. I don't like the hire. I don't like college coaches. Like they could have just went for like a young coach, up and rising coach from assistant job or something like that. That can just like the Thunder develop with the team as they're rebuilding.
Yeah,
But like I'm just not a fan of college coaches being NBA coaches. Like Rick Panito, Fred Hoiberg, John Calipari. Like we saw college coaches who had success in college go to the NBA and just doesn't have the same success. But
yeah,
maybe it's different because those college coaches was before the NIL era. Maybe it's different. But
yeah.
I give it a C minus.
I agree, bro. I agree for sure.
And that was the last team because the only coaching open job right now is the Portland Trailblazers, and we'll see what they would do. Because I don't know how they couldn't keep Tiago Splitter, but I feel like I said, I remember you told me earlier this season the Blazers got a lot of potential. I can see the potential with them, especially like they had a couple good games against the Spurs. Like
Yeah,
I
they just didn't have enough. You could see it in
mm-hmm,
the playoffs. They
mm-hmm,
had they it seemed like they wanted it. That's what it comes down to. You just
mm-hmm,
wanted it. They just didn't
mm-hmm.
have enough. They didn't have enough of the talent, enough of the They just didn't have enough in the tank, and that was all
Hmm.
it was. Siaga
Hmm.
Splitter did a good job with that team, man, and Portland kind of messed up not offering him that full time job or just letting him walk.
Hmm.
Letting him go to the Bulls. But it is what it is, and they could probably do something. Try to make a good hire. I don't know. We'll have to see. But
Hey, Jason Kidd's available. I think that'd be a good hire for them.
yeah, I wouldn't disagree at all. I would
Hmm.
not disagree.
Yeah, but I feel like the moment we all been waiting for, the draft special. I should really just rename this podcast the draft slash off season special because the way we've been talking about most of the off season stuff, but like all this stuff ties in with the NBA draft. But we know the first pick. Let me set the stage for you guys. The first pick belongs to the Wizards. The draft is tomorrow. By the time this podcast comes out, it's today. On Tuesday, second round on Wednesday. And let me talk about the Wizards real quick because the Wizards did re-sign Trae Young today on a
Hmm.
5-year, $200 million contract. So that does play into the top prospect who they're going to draft. We got Cam Boozer from Duke, averaged 22 points per game, won Naismith Player of the Year. Darryn Peterson, like some people think he might go number one over AJ Dybantsa, who's also another person considered going number one, AJ Dybantsa. And we also got Caleb Wilson too, another top prospect. With people saying if those three players that we did mention before was in the draft, he could be the number one pick. So this draft is stacked, and I feel like we just gotta get right into our mock draft. So who you got taking number one for the Wizards?
Man, I got the Wizards taking Darren Peterson. Um, if I was the GM, I would pick Darren Peterson simply because I feel like he is the best player in the draft. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. A lot of people say AJ DeBonsa is the best player in the draft, but if you look at their numbers, AJ DeBonsa averages more because he was literally on that team by himself. He had to carry BYU by himself. Um, when they faced off in the Big 12 matchup, Darren Peterson had 20 points on in 18 minutes. He didn't even finish the game because he got hurt, and AJ DeBonsa did not have more points than him that game. Darren Peterson proved. I watched both of these players play in person against Oklahoma State, and the difference between the two, they're both great scorers, both great players. The difference between the two, AJ DeBonsa waits too long to get started, and he tries to force it a little bit. And Darren Peterson, he's just so silky, so smooth, laid back, doesn't force anything, and he's a great player, bro. Uh, I just think he will fit better than AJ Dybantsa would in Washington, along with Trae Young and Anthony Davis. Now, I guess they got some young pieces there in Washington, and it's shaping out to be pretty interesting on how this is going to look. We haven't been this hype for Washington since John Wall and Bradley Beal when
Mm-hmm.
they were. So I think it's going to be pretty exciting to see. Either way, you cannot go wrong with AJ DeBonsa or Darren Peterson, but I just think Darren Peterson going number one. That's just me personally.
See, I always hate doing mock drafts with you because I feel like the first five picks we just do the same same players. Like we think
Yeah,
alike, and I totally agree with you. I feel like Darren Peterson is going number one. I feel I like him more. Like you have more knowledge about this than me because you saw them play at Oklahoma State against Oklahoma State, and like
yeah,
one team beat Oklahoma State, the other team didn't beat Oklahoma State, and the team that beat Oklahoma State, that player is going number one. And I always feel like I always have this one rule like, oh, I always trust a player if they can beat Oklahoma State because we're not good. So if
yeah,
they lose to Oklahoma State in any sport, like, oh yeah, this player's definitely good. Like,
yeah. And
but
yeah, like I said, I seen it. I seen it with my own eyes, bro. Like AJ DeBosa, don't get me wrong, man. He's nice. Like he's like from the eye, like from the naked eye, you're like, yeah, he's the guy. But then you look at Darren Peterson, he just looks like any regular guy until you look up at the screen and at the stats, and bro has 30, like 30 on like 12, 14 shots. maybe.
And I feel like the big thing
He's
is
just
like,
so he's just so efficient. Like I can't explain it to you, and it's like the quietest 30, but like it's 30, bro. I can't even explain it to you. He's the better player, and he didn't play most of the season because he was he was going through his little injuries or whatever it was, or he was just being Darren Peterson. Like, yeah, I'm going number one, so I don't want to play. He was probably going through that, but like you know, I can understand that part too. But then, I don't know. That's why I picked Darren Peterson at number one. He's just a better player to me, bro. It's just real. I think it's cool.
yeah, like you said, everything that I'm just thinking about Darren Peterson. And
Yeah,
like one thing you didn't mention, like AJ Dybantsa does not want to play for the Wizards. He want to play for the Jazz. Darren Pearson does not want to play for the Jazz. He want to play for the Wizards. So it just
yeah,
makes more sense long term wise when it comes to contract extension negotiation. Who wants to play for who for a long time? And if AJ Dybantsa is there, like, oh, I'm just gonna go to Utah like I want to go from the start. And Darren Peterson is what Utah like. I'm just gonna leave Utah because I just said I want to play for Utah. That's what's gonna happen. That's
yeah,
where you're going to try to overpay for these players who didn't want to get drafted in this situation. Now you're like the Pelicans who stuck with a Zion contract because, you have to pay Zion all this money so he won't leave for New York. So,
yeah.
but we already know who's Jazz going to take since we already.
Yeah, like you said, AJ wants to play for the Jazz. He wants to stay in Utah. BYU's in Utah. He's been in Utah for a couple years now. Why leave?
I feel
Uh,
like I feel like AJ DeBoston will be more impactful for playing for like a smaller market team compared to like I won't say Wizards are a big market, but they are in Washington D.C. So like that's a pretty significant market where
oh,
all
for
the
sure. Yeah,
mm-hmm,
yeah. I would agree. Like anything East Coast, that's bigger market for sure.
mm-hmm,
It doesn't matter if they're poverty. It doesn't matter if you're a poverty friend. You could be the Charlotte Hornets, and that's still a bigger market team than the Utah Jazz. Just
right,
because it's East Coast, that's just how that
mm-hmm,
works.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
AJ Dybala just want to stay here.
mm-hmm. And yeah, so we both say AJ DeBoston for the Grizzlies for the Jazz. But so who do you think the Grizzlies going to take with third pick?
The best available player, and I would think that is Cam Boozer.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't. Okay, hot take. Hot take.
It's really hot because I know what you're going to say.
It may not be hot, but I'm not a fan of Cam Boozer. I don't think his play style is going to correlate to the NBA. He's just very mid. I think he's just very mid. And honestly, his dad was mid too. His dad was just, you know,
he,
on a
he was
good team.
he
Is
was
that
on
crazy to say?
yeah, he was on the Jazz and early Jazz teams and the Bulls teams. Like he was just on good teams.
He was on good teams. Like, he was just on good teams, bro. He had Darren Williams. Then he went to the Bulls and had Derrick Rose. Like, I think,
You're right.
I
You're
mean,
right.
yeah, I don't know. I just feel like
Like
I think
like he has a high floor.
I really do hope Cam Boozer proves me wrong though. I hope he proves me wrong. Like, I really want him to be, wow, OU just went up 7-1 in the World Series.
See, that's what I thought you was watching this whole entire time looking up.
Yeah,
But
bro.
but Cam Bruiser, he has a high floor, but not that high of a ceiling. If that makes sense. Like I feel
Yeah,
like he definitely have a higher floor than both AJ and Darren, but his ceiling is not as high as AJ and Darren.
yeah,
So
that's real.
I don't think he would be like that number one guy, like or be that number one guy to win your championship, but he would definitely be that strong number two. That's that sidekick,
Yeah,
you know. So yeah. Like I said, Grizzlies just take the best available. We don't know what they're gonna do with Jaw. So I kind of like that. Kind of like that front court. Cam Boozer and Zach Edey. Zach Edey was pretty solid for them this season. So,
yeah.
but fourth pick, who you got for the Bulls? I just think who I was about to say.
No, I do. You got, bro. If I
Caleb
could,
Wilson.
if I could flip my screen, our draft probably looks the exact same, bro. I'm taking Caleb Wilson. For one, the Bulls really need a good big, and I think I think Caleb Wilson would be a good fit for them. And like I
Mhm.
said, hiring Tiago Splitter, someone that has that experience, someone that has played at the highest level in the NBA Finals and was a big, you can start to develop these young guys, and
Mhm.
I think he'll be in that rotation almost right away, instantly. And yeah,
Yeah,
Caleb Wilson he's a good player, bro.
mhm.
I watched him a little bit this season, and he
Mhm.
looks solid to me. So I
Yeah.
don't see how you wouldn't draft him
Yeah.
if you're the Bulls.
Yeah, Chicago, they needed athleticism and energy up front badly. So Wilson is the most gifted pure athlete in this class. Like at 6'10", he gives the Bulls versatility. He can switch defensively, and like the Bulls have the roster piece to build around him. So and also half the Bulls roster are all guards. So it seems like the obvious pick right here to get Caleb Wilson at
Yeah,
4.
for sure, for sure. I agree.
So he got a 5 for the Clippers.
This is where it might get tricky. We might be similar. We might be wrong or different.
Okay.
But if I'm the Clippers, I'm taking Darius Acuff.
This is where we get different because if I was the Clippers, I'll take Keaton Wagler. Like Darius Jacob, he's a point guard, but they already have Darius Garland. If they unless they think about trading him away, but at the moment they have Darius Garland being that point guard role. So I have them taking
Yeah,
more of a 2 guard, combo guard, 6'6", off ball shooter, reliable. That's what they need is shooters on the team right now. So I got them taking Keaton Wagler from Illinois.
yeah, that's cool. I don't disagree with that. I just feel like if you're a team, you can't really pass on Darius Acuff. If you're not in those top four teams, I feel like you can't pass on Darius Acuff because he showed how he is, man. He's really good. Uh, you've seen it at Arkansas this year, and I don't know. I think you can make it work with Darius Garland. Um, I feel like Darius Acuff can play off ball. I don't think he needs to bring the ball up every single play. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not mad at the Keaton Wagler draft either. I'm not mad at that.
Mm-hmm. So you got taking 6 for the Nets.
Nate Emmett from
Mm.
Tennessee, small forward. I didn't really watch him play that much, but um, I feel like that's somebody that the Nets would take. Uh, They just need a little bit of height. Who knows what their roster situation is looking like, especially with like Nick Claxton and stuff. We've been hearing stuff about him, so I don't know. I feel like it would be a decent pick for them.
Yeah, I got them taking Darius Acuff. Like this Brooklyn roster is bad. It,
Yeah,
they have all the draft capital. Like they definitely need a restock. And I like Darius Acuff. I feel like this is just take the best available. And Darius Acuff, like he might be like he has the potential of being the best player in this draft. Especially this might be the best point guard that John Calipari coached in college. Like, and that's saying a lot. He coached players like Jamal Murray, Shea Gills Alexander, and John Wall, and also Derrick Rose. So like those are 4 Hall of Fame. Well, not Jamal Murray, but those are 4 really great point guards to have that has success in the NBA. All like I feel like Darius Acuff, he's a lightning quick playmaker. He's definitely someone to fill up the stat sheet for the Brooklyn Nets and a great person to start, great person to build around for them. So, like I said, take the best player available right here.
yeah.
So he got the
Not bad
Kings
with that.
taking at 7.
I got the Kings taking your 5 pick. I got them taking Keaton Wagler,
Mm.
shooter. Uh, I think they'll get rid of either Demar or someone, so it'll open a little bit more space for him to be inserted into the rotation and just get some shots up. You know, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see, but that's why I got the Kings taking at 7.
So I have the Kings taking. Like I said, this is pretty bad roster all around. Definitely was the one of the worst teams in the league. Even though they spending all this money on those three big players that I was talking about, but I got them taking no, they haven't been the same since Darren Fox left. So I got them taking a point guard, Kingston Flemings from Houston. So I feel like he's a high IQ player. He can push up the tempo. I feel like this is a good player for the Kings to build around for their rebuild.
Not mad at that. Not mad at that at all.
So he got at 8 for the
Okay.
Hawks.
I got Kingston Flemings for the exact reason that you just said. Because no Trae Young, guard spot is pretty much open. I know you got CJ McCollum there, but why not add a little bit of a younger guy? Like you said, push the pace. He's really good. He was at Houston, uh, and Houston made that uh, March Madness run, and he was a big part of that. So I feel like, why not take the point guard when your point guard spot is pretty much wide open. CJ McCollum is a little bit older, uh,
Mm-hmm.
but just add some guard play to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Especially you think, especially just Atlanta's going to make some moves this offseason. They made some last season. They already have Aaron Wiggins in the trade from last night from Oklahoma City. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they'll just keep adding, and why not add Kingston Flemings to that?
Mm-hmm. See, I right at this moment because hearing you talk, I'm like, okay, I think the Hawks should take a point guard. I'm just gonna switch my 8 and 9 pick around because this both of these players can go to either teams. But I originally had Braden Berries from Arizona going to the Hawks, But now I'm thinking about it, the Hawks do need a point guard more because like I was thinking about Dyson Daniel being the point guard, but actually I'm gonna stick with that. Dyson Daniel is the point guard, so I'm gonna have Braden Berries, someone because like Stephen McConnell, he plays the two positions sometimes, he plays the one position sometimes, but he is getting older. He has that trade kicker, so like he might still get traded during this offseason, even sign that extension. So I feel like Braden Berries is a perfect guy. He's a perimeter scorer. He's 6'4". He's a natural off-ball scorer. He can catch and shoot. And then I feel like it's the safe pick for the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm
So
not mad at that. I'm not mad at that.
so he got 9 for the Dallas Mavericks.
Um, Anybody you pick in this situation, if you're the Mavericks, is not wrong. Uh, I don't think, but I got him taking small forward, power forward from New Zealand, Kareem Lopez. Uh, Derek Lively's been iffy, back battling injuries and stuff like that. And then, you don't really have a big presence in Dallas. And I think you could add some size along with Cooper Flag, Do I think they need a guard? Yeah, absolutely. I think they do need a little bit more guard play, but I don't think you could go wrong with Kareem Lopez in this situation if you're Dallas.
Yeah, for Dallas, I got them taking a point guard because Kyrie been on and off. You don't know they might trade him, so I feel like I got them taking Cal Brown Jr. from Louisville. I feel
Hmm.
like I like that duo of him and Cooper Flag. Probably might be one of the bright spots for them. You got Clay at the 2, and you still if Derek Lively can come back, you still got PJ Washington. Like they can make a push for the play-in, I guess, with that roster. But I like Mikal Brown Jr. at 9 for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
So he got at 10 for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Uh, I have Milwaukee taking Mikael Brown Jr. Uh, we talked about Giannis getting shipped out, and I was thinking somebody just to pair with Jalen Brown if he was to come from Boston. That's the way I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Have him have a point guard there, but that's just who I have them taking. I don't really know too much about Mikael Brown Jr. actually. I just know he's a freshman from Louisville, and I don't even know how good Louisville did this year, honestly. But yeah, that's who I got them taking.
Yeah, for the Bucks, I got them taking a center. I feel like besides Giannis, I also think they might get rid of Miles Turner too. Like, I
Yeah,
don't think his contract is terrible to move off him. So I feel like A.J. Mara from Michigan, the 7'3" big man. I feel like
yeah.
he might be selected at 10. So that's my only reasoning. So he got for 11 for the Warriors.
Okay, this is gonna sound crazy. A-Day Mara. I got them choosing. I got the Warriors choosing him. Uh, from the top of my head, from my knowledge, I don't think the Warriors have any like really good bigs.
You're right. You're right.
But this could go really wrong because the last time they tried to draft a big, it did not work out in James Wiseman.
You're also right.
So, like, I got them choosing him, but I don't really know how this is going to work. I really he's from a championship team, so that's a plus, right?
Hmm.
I just don't understand, or I just don't know. I can't put my finger on if this is actually going to work. Like, how is he going to work in the system with Clay running off screens and or not Clay, Steph running? Why did I say Clay? I'm sorry. With Steph running off screens and stuff. Like, I know he could probably clean up the boards, but you're going
Hmm.
to have to be down there a lot, you know.
Hmm.
So it's going to be. I don't know.
Yeah, for 11, you had him taking like I think top 6. I got him right here at 11. Nate Admin. I feel like they one of their biggest needs definitely like well to get younger and also like I feel like their front court definitely needs some help. I already have the big end taken, and I don't want them taking in my team. I don't want them taking the next pick I have for the Thunder. So I feel like Nate Admin would be great for the Warriors in spot. I feel like they're definitely going to be looking for a small forward, especially after getting rid of Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, for sure.
So who you got the Thunder taking?
Man, I got the Thunder. Shout out OKC. We finna go be the 2027 NBA champs with this one. I got him taking he's gonna be a national champ and the NBA champion back to back years. I gotta
We got
take
Steve
him
Kerr.
Yaxel Lindenborg from Michigan. Man, I've been seeing this for a while and it's starting to grow on me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how the Thunder get when they got that 12th pick.
Mm-hmm. They start
You
hooping.
know the history behind that 12th pick.
They
I
start
got him
hooping.
taking Yaxel, bro. He just 6'9". You can't get away. The 6'9", perfect size. That means you could play big or you could play small. He got the size, he got the mass, and he has the athleticism. I don't see why you don't take him. I think Sam Presti know what he's doing with that 12th pick, and I think we might trade that 17th pick up to try to see what we could do. But I think that 12th pick is locked in though for sure.
Yeah. I feel like this is a player that they would like if there's rumors that the Warriors going to take him, they're going to trade up to get Yaxel Lindbergh. So yeah, like he's 24 years old. That's the reason. If he wasn't 24 years old, he would be a top 5 pick. But
Yeah,
that's the reason. But that makes it more perfect for the Thunder because he's a ready now player. He doesn't need to be the star. He just knows the need to be in his place.
yeah,
Like he's 6'9". He can play the 3, the 4, sometimes the 5, and he like yeah. Look, they call him the Dominican LeBron James, bro. Like I like no glaze, but like hey, I've been wanting him since like January. Like he looks like a Thunder.
yeah.
But for the Heat, who you got taking?
uh, I got him taking the look of like of Laurie Markkinen, Heinz Steinbach
Mm,
from Washington.
mm.
Uh, pretty good size, and I think he might be a stretch big too, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not, but I just got him taking a big. Come off the bench probably for them. I don't see they're pretty shooter and guard heavy unless they trade Tyler Hero and some other guys, but I see them taking a big and not too much of a wing or a guard.
Yeah. Uh, I got the Heat taking Kareem Lopez from New Zealand.
Yeah.
He can play big. He can play the small forward. Like, it's not really that much I can say. Like, I don't know. I feel like this Heat roster is not that great too. But maybe when they get a Giannis, this draft pick can be different. It might not even be their draft pick. So that's all I can say. Who got the
Yeah.
Hornets taking?
Chris Sinek Jr.
Mm.
Don't know too much about him. Just know that he was on that Houston March Madness run. I think he might be a stretch big as well. Um, and I think the Hornets could really use a big, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after the whole deal with Mark Williams and you know, but I think he'll be a pretty good fit. Young freshman, so probably like 22 years old maybe. It's a lot of freshmen in this draft. That's actually surprising to me, but
Mm-hmm.
not really. But that's good.
Yeah. I got 3 national champions going in the lottery, and the third one is going to be Morez Johnson Jr. from Go Blue from Michigan. He's a potential two-way threat. He can shoot the three ball, play defense. He's 6'9". He can play the forward to center, and I feel like that's what they need. They got guards. We know they got
Yeah,
guards, so I feel like they can get some help from the wing or the post from him.
not mad at that. Not mad at that.
I feel like this is. I feel like only way our mock drafts aren't right because the trades are gonna happen. I feel like as soon as I press this red button to end the podcast, that Giannis trade is coming in.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. What I have for the podcast. Want to shout out your socials?
Yes, sir. Not J.Jack on Instagram. The real JJack _. I think on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, man. Go check us out. Follow, hit that like button, and subscribe. Yes, sir.
Uh, me, primetime.siafa on Instagram, on TikTok, Immanuel Siafa on Twitter. And also check out my YouTube channel. Stay with me. Last video, it was talking about the NBA. Not NBA. Well, it was talking about sports and mental health. The video before that, we was talking about the Pelicans. And my next video coming out on Friday after I finish recording this, I'm about to record that one. Is why did the Knicks finally figure out? So that's a new series I'm going to start about recent NBA championship and why it took them how long it did to finally figure out and win a champion.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for that Thunder video I'm about to make after that.
Yes, sir.
But
Stay
what's the
with me. Been
final?
going crazy, by the way. Stay with me.
Mm-hmm.
Been
Yep.
going crazy, by the way. I gotta, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta, I gotta say that on record so they know that you've been talking that talk, man. It's real. And the name is catchy. Like I like to stay with me. I like it. But
Yeah. Well, you want to stay with us? Follow our podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, wherever on all platforms. Like that's we know the deal. Subscribe, support, send us money by Cash Up. But that's all we have for the podcast. Hope you guys have a great day, and we're out.
yes, sir. Peace.